The HTN Nice Weekend.
Live from the Charlottetown Driving Park, it's the 1975 Gold Cup and Saucer Race, brought to you by McLennan Motors on the Action Corner. We'll join Ingham Palmer and Fred McDonald in just a moment.
The end of Old Home Week, and then the end of summer. Time continues to march on into September and the arrival of the 1976 cars. To get ready for this event, the boys at McLennan Motors are spending their time clearing their remaining stock of 75 cars. 1975 is still your year to move up to a maximum mileage Chev or Oldsmobile. And right now it's time to make your move at McLennan Motors on the Action Corner before time runs out.
Hi again, harness racing fans. Ingham Palmer from the Charlottetown Driving Park for CHTN Sports. Indeed, a pleasure for me to be back home in Charlottetown once again to bring to you a running commentary of what has to be the most colorful sporting spectacle in all of Atlantic Canada. We are just witnessing the post-parade here now for the 16th presentation of the prestigious Gold Cup and Saucer, going this year for a record $5,000. Faith McKinney of Charlottetown, just finishing her rendition of Lucy Maud Montgomery's Island Hymn. The lights are dimmed here at the Charlottetown Driving Park, and in just a moment, Ed Waters will be post-parading the starters for the Classic tonight. We have a field of 8. And the spotlight swings now to pick up the number 1 horse. That is Lacarty, owned by Edith MacPhail of Cornwall, with her husband Boyce MacPhail doing the driving. And he's the first horse in Atlantic Canada to pass over $20,000 in one season. I know him well. He was the horse of the year in St. John last year. Lacarty with Boyce MacPhail driving. And now we pick up the number 2 horse, and that is Analyzer, a winner this year in 203 and change. And he's been here on several occasions. Making a quick guess, I think probably this is about the 3rd year in a row for the chestnut son of Amortizer, owned by the DeWare brothers of Moncton or Brunswick, with diminutive Joe Gauguin and his yellow and black or his gold and black silks. The chestnut pacing stallion and Joe Gauguin doing the teaming, parading as number 2. Number 3, and we'll pick her up in the spotlight in just a moment, Shailene Globe, a New Zealand-bred pacing mare, a winner last year in 205, and she's been close in that time again this year. She's owned by Boyd MacDonald of Croppo, and Boyd MacDonald doing the teaming. Shailene Globe is number 3, in front of the grandstand right now. And then we will pick up the number 4 horse, another New Zealand-bred horse from up in the western part of the island, owned by Charlie and Orville Willis from O'Leary. A father and son combination. Orville, the son, doing the teaming. Ira, a winner here earlier this week in 204 and 2. Parading now in the spotlight. Number 5, Ira, and Orville Willis. Then we go to number 5, and a horse that's touted pretty well here tonight by Freddie McDonald. If Freddie, I hope your picks are better than my picks. But Ventall Rainbow, a 3-year-old that has been impressive here at Charlottetown in his only performance. And he has been impressive in the harness racing big time at Yonkers in New York. A 3-year-old son of Best of All from Venture Rainbow, owned by Glenn Elliott of Amherst, and Mikey McDonald, a Charlottetown product, doing the teaming. And Mikey's had the Elliott horses, Pop and in Montreal for the past several years. This is the horse that Glenn Elliott has been looking for on several occasions. He thinks he has him here tonight to win the Gold Cup and Saucer.
Attention Charlottetown firemen! Attention Charlottetown firemen! The fire alarm is now ringing in Charlottetown. This fireman's alert has been presented as a public service by Higgs Insurance, who suggest you check your fire insurance coverage.
Owned by Arnold McLennan of Somerset. Parading just before us a moment ago, number 6, John III, a magnificent-looking animal, a rugged performer by the world champion Brent Hanover, owned by Arnold McLennan of Summerside, with Emmett Bernard doing the driving. Parading now, number 7, Drum Major N, another New Zealand-bred horse, owned and driven by Milton Downey of St. John. And number 8, we'll pick him up in our spotlight in just a moment, is Tar Horn, another horse from the Cornwall area, owned and will be driven by Alex McPhee, and up until this week was the holder of the season's record here on Prince Edward Island. Number 8, Tar Horn. The Recce Band and the Island Hymn. And down in front of us, Freddie, that doesn't look very bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pretty girls in silks for 8 pretty horses. And, Freddie, let's chat about the field. You're telling me a while ago that you liked the Ventol Rainbow colt.
Yes, Ingham, I like Ventol Rainbow. Mike McDonald showed him here earlier in the week. He got to the front very quickly, and I think he'll do it again tonight. I think he'll go right to the front from the 5-hole, surprise everybody, get the front easy, and win going away. Probably 2-3 in a piece.
2-3 in a piece. Well, our racetrack tonight is not all that bad. It has just seen a trip in 2:05.1. Fab going on top, cutting it out himself and getting a new record of 5-1 in the race just before this. So we've a little chilly, but a fast track.
The one horse I'm scared about is number 1, McCarty, and I'm sure Mike McDonald's scared about him too. You've seen him race in St. John. He's an exceptional horse, and when the money's on the line, McCarty's usually his sharpest. He won last year the $10,000 piece in St. John. I was there, and I wouldn't bet $5 against it, Ingham.
Well, I don't know. McCarty is extremely tough. Analyzer is extremely tough. He can pounce out of a hole, and I remember a year ago watching him dust one here one night in 2:02 and 4. I saw him win in St. John after that in 2-3 and change. Shailene Globe, if Ventol Rainbow is going to cut it out, he's going to have to get by Shailene Globe because she is known for early speed.
Shailene Globe can leave real well, Ingham. I think probably, though, that Boydie may be thinking to get to the front early and get a piece of it himself.
Mm-hmm.
However, should he decide to park Ventol Rainbow, then it's right down Boyce and Fales Alley.
Ira?
I think he can, Ingham. I think Ventol Rainbow to the front easily tonight.
All of the horses tonight, with one exception, are pretty well established. Their reputation is well known, but we do have what we might call a dark horse in here, and that is the horse from St. John, Drum Major N, another New Zealand bred horse. He's owned by Milt Downey and will be driven by Milt Downey. And this horse has only had 4 starts in the Maritimes, and he's in here, I think, at the urging of Milton Downey, who was invited in with Fab. And Milton, apparently, has the opinion that Drum Major N is a better racehorse than Fab.
I was somewhat surprised, Ingham, really. I was talking to Milton earlier in the day, and he had a choice to enter either Fab or Drum Major N, and Drum Major N looked real good his last start, winning in 5-2. He comes out tonight, wins in 2:05.1, a new race record.
The Fab horse.
He thinks, yes, the Fab horse. So Milton thinks Drum Major N is a better horse than Fab. We'll find out very shortly.
Well, his first start at Woodstock not all that long ago, about 3 weeks ago, he took him up there and he made a break leaving. It was race timed in 12-1. And then I saw him in his next 2 starts. He left out and went to the top, cut him out both at St. John, winning in 8-3. That was his first win at a mile. Then come back the next time and loafed in 2:07. And on Monday night, I wasn't here, but you saw his performance on Monday night. I think he was a victim of some interference.
Drum Major ran into traffic problems on Monday night, his last start. He was sitting good, and he had the big horse, Milton had the big horse rolling at the half. And it looked to me that Analyzer may have crowded him a little bit. The judges thought otherwise. However, I did think Drum Major interfered with. However, Analyzer won fair and square. He won a hell of a trip the other night, winning in 4-1. I still like Drum Major. I think Drum Major and will probably a good trip tonight.
Okay, as I said, he looms as the only dark horse in our field tonight. The others, we know them and we know them well, and they're all fancy bunch of horses that not only can hoof it here in Atlantic Canada, but can hoof it pretty close to the big leagues in other spots, too.
John the Third could be a surprise horse in here tonight, Ingham. I like John the Third. He's been racing extremely well in Charlottetown. He drew bad tonight, the 6th hole. However, if he did get a break leaving, John the Third could certainly scare him. He's been beaten a couple of times. However, he could be good tonight.
Okay, the horses are taking their second score, and we'll be back in just a moment to talk about the crowd and the possibility, I guess it's a fact now, that we're getting an all-time record, not only for the Charlottetown Driving Park, but for the Maritimes as well. We'll be back with the Gold Cup and Saucer race right after this message from McLennan Motors.
The days turn into nights, and the nights get longer. Time marches on, and autumn approaches. And then comes the arrival of the 1976 cars at McLennan Motors. But now is now, and that means you can save yourself a lot of money right now at McLennan Motors on their remaining stock of 1975 Chevs and Oldsmobiles. 1975. It was a great year for GM. Get in on it before it ends at McLennan Motors on the Action Corner.
And Ingham Palmer, along with Fred McDonald, back here at the Charlottetown Driving Park. We thought the horses were taking their second score. I see Analyzer coming back, Freddie, for what appears to be another. And the others turning in the backstretch now. Of course, we must point out that things are running a little late, as anybody can tell by glancing at their watch. It's now roughly about 12 minutes to midnight, and an exceptionally large crowd. I do not have a figure on the attendance tonight, Fred, do you?
I didn't hear anything officially.
But I don't think that if I had to make a mad dash for the wickets on the other side of the track, I think it probably would take me maybe 10 minutes to work through that crowd.
I'm glad I'm overhearing them.
We must point out that our broadcast point tonight is in with the timers up here atop the old historic judges stand at the Charlottetown Driving Park, and we're doing it from the inside. A little sort of an unusual vantage point for not for Ed Waters, but for me. We're usually watching them from up on top of the roof, and judges stands on the other side of the racetrack. And we've got to sort of look through the windows here, but we've done that before, and we were trying to recall when Mr. McMillan and I last did something like this. He refuses to admit to it, but it was 12 years ago, the night that Dees Boy won the Gold Cup in Saucer in '62. That's the night that I remember Mick Sampson making the skip in the top turn, and High J and Bob Brook going down to sort of ruin the Classic that year. 12 years, Mr. McMillan. Anything to say about that?
Yes, I have a lot to say about that, Mr. Palmer. It's a long, long while ago. But we also did one here since then. I know we have done one since then. And it was the night that you picked Comp Richelieu from Milton Downey. And we did it back for St. John, if you'll recall. And we had a great night that evening. And because you had picked Comp Richelieu to win, and I had picked Comp Richelieu to lose, and lose badly, which he did. And therefore my picks are much ahead of Mr. Fred McDonald's. I am 100% right so far. I don't know what Freddie's mark is right now, but it isn't all that high, I don't think, Freddie.
No, it's around 800. Just 8 for 10 is not a bad batting average in any league.
Well, I tell you, if Comp Richelieu hadn't have stuck them in that night in the first turn, I might have won that horse race too. But anyhow, you win some, you lose some.
You think they're pulling a Dougie Caldwell over here right now, Ingham?
Well, we're taking a little bit of time, but I see $18,282 in the triactor pool right now. And let's see, look at that win pool. $7,780, $2,400 plus in the place pool, $1,200 in the show. So quickly, that's 78 now. 98, we're up to 10, 2, 11, 11, 3. Oof, we have, this has got to be our record. We have something like, we'll hit $30,000 in this race pool alone. Freddie, have you heard a figure of, what have we got, 156,000 or 160,000? Is that what they're predicting? 160. We're past that now. Well, the old record was, I think, 131,000 here last year. So we are setting records for the Maritimes at Charlottetown tonight. Wicked, and I guess the wagering all week long, Freddie, has been up above years gone by.
Ingham, the starting gate is now in position. I just see...
Listen, here they come through the stretch. Here they come. They're up and moving to the top. From the far outside it is. Ventall Rainbow going to the top. Has the lead right now by 3 lengths, and they're only halfway to the 8th pole. Ventall Rainbow cutting it out real quick. Racing a second in along the rail. It is Shailene Globe, and they're going up the backstretch now, racing for the quarter. And LaCarty is off stride and on the run. John the third goes out from behind him. He moves to third. LaCarty is still running. Tarhorn goes to fourth, and they are by the quarter. And racing into the top turn, it is Ventall Rainbow by 2 lengths. Shailene Globe racing second. We go back 4 lengths now to John the third. Then racing fourth. Then along the rail, it is Tarhorn. And Uriah racing fifth. Then it is Analyzer, Drum Major N, as they come through the stretch now and race to the half, the quarter in 30 seconds. Driving on to the half, Ventall Rainbow cuts it out, leads a length and a half. Shailene Globe closing the gap, racing second. John the third is a third. Tarhorn racing a fourth. Uriah, a gap there of about 7 lengths. Uriah, Analyzer, Drum Major N is back of them by 10 lengths. And LaCarty is out of it as they race into the lower turn now for the second time. The half in 101 and 1. They're racing on up the backstretch, driving for the 3/4. Ventall Rainbow is the leader. Shailene Globe looks good. She's racing a second and laying in behind the leader as they drive by the 3/4 pole now. John the third is racing a third, and Tarhorn working up on the outside. He is driving fourth, but Ventall Rainbow moves out on front. He steps out. He leads now by 2. Shailene Globe racing second. John the third is third. Tarhorn racing fourth. Analyzer fifth. Uriah, Drum Major Rim. They head for home, and it is Ventall Rainbow. Ventall Rainbow is best of all as they come driving to the wire. It's Ventall Rainbow by 2.5. Shailene Globe, then John the third. Analyzer gets up for fourth. Tarhorn fifth. Uriah, Drum Major N, and LaCarty still on the run. And time for the mile was, Freddie, did you get it? 2:04 and 2. And the winner, the 3-year-old Ventall Rainbow, owned by Glenn Elliott of Amherst, Nova Scotia, trained and driven by Mike McDonald. We'll be back with the official results after this message from McLennan Motors.
Right now, right on the lot at McLennan Motors. All remaining 1975 Chevrolets and Oldsmobiles are just sitting there, waiting for someone like you to buy them and take them home. One after the other, new owners are picking up their new cars and driving away. And it's going to keep on happening until the lot is empty. To make it happen, and to make way for 1976 cars, McLennan Motors are cutting prices and making great deals. 1975, a good year to get in on, before it ends at McLennan Motors on the Action Corner.
Well, it's all over now, the 16th presentation of the Gold Cup and Saucer. And Glenn Elliott, a sportsman from Amherst, Nova Scotia, who makes his living giving amusement to other people with his Elliott amusement shows. And he has not, in years gone by, found Charlottetown, Old Home Week, all that amusing. He's paid out good money to get a winner. Last year it was Maldo and Denver-like. Go ahead, Freddie. Could never do it.
Ingham, I was surprised at the race. Uriah didn't leave, and 2 or 3 others inside him didn't leave that wicket as we expected them to leave. McCarty especially, and Mike's horse, Ventall Rainbow, got to the front easily, and Drum Major jumped, and McCarty jumped. They scattered the field, and they really it didn't make for real good racing. It wasn't one of our classics, but it was a decent horse race.
Well, it was unfortunate for those that were victims of what we call an interference break in harness racing. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but right now, here comes Ventall Rainbow, and he has 3 in front of him. This is very impressive as they parade the winner with 3 parade horses, one carrying the island flag, another bearing the Nova Scotia flag, and the other flying the New Brunswick flag. The Gold Cup and Saucer girls will rim a circle around Ventall Rainbow, and I see Glenn Elliott working his way across the track to join Mikey McDonald. I started to say a moment ago, Freddie, that they've been down here usually racing up in Montreal at this time of year, but they bring the horses back. Mikey's a hometown kid, and Glenn Elliott, coming from Amherst, he's been trying for several years, paying out good bucks to get good horses to win this race. Tonight it works out for him. Almy-colored cooler, a gold cooler with the blue lettering. The Evening Patriot Gold Cup and Saucer is now covering this year's winner, Ventall Rainbow. And Mikey McDonald looks pretty happy, huh?
Well, Mike's probably the happiest boy in Charlottetown, Ingham.
Okay, if we can sort of recap the way that race went, Freddie, you pegged it pretty well. You said that colt would go to the top, and he did. He beat Lacardi and Analyzer, Shailene Globe, and all of them out of there. He was on top by 2 lengths as he left the switch here. And then the Drum Major N horse get into a bit of trouble. I don't exactly know what happened. I did not see that, but I think he did get a wheel up against the hub rail, so whether he hit the rail going in or jumped into it. And then Lacardi rolled off stride on his own, and it could be that the excitement of trying to win this racing classic had maybe Boyce McPhail and Milton Downey urging their mounts just a little bit much, maybe a little bit too much. Maybe they just sort of rushed them off their feet. But certainly a quarter in 30 seconds is nothing for Lacardi. I've seen him there a lot quicker many times before. But
listen, Ingham, you fellows can talk horses all you like, but I'm quite interested in a young lady by the name of Kathy Costello was representing the Rainbow Horse, and she is Miss Gold Cup and Saucer for 1975.
you do a creditable job for a man with gray hair. We value there that you do know the young ladies better than we do. Right, Freddie?
I would say so, Ingham.
Okay. It certainly is a colorful ceremony out front, and quite a few people have jumped the fence or come through the gate. A lot of young people out there, I suppose. The victory celebrations right now, we have to count up maybe 50 or 60 people.
I'm surprised, Ingham. Not really surprised. I'm a little disappointed in Lacardi and Drum Major N. It's too bad both those horses made breaks. It would have made well of a race if those two horses stayed pacing. It's too bad that the victory is tainted a little bit, but I'm sure Glenn Elliott and Mike McDonald will take it. 204 and 2.
204 and 2, and that I think equals your season's record over here on Prince Edward Island, right?
Yes, Tarhorn the winner last week in 2-4 and 2, and I believe Analyzer equaled that mark with 4 and 2 earlier this week.
So we don't have the official result yet, as the post-race ceremonies are occupying the track announcer right now. But Benthall Rainbow was the winner. There's nothing up there. It goes now, $5.20. And in the excitement of it all, Freddie, I think it was the mare, Shailene Globe. Was she second?
She was second, Ingham. Rather long shot at odds of 49 to 1, rather 25 to 1. She finished second.
How many times have I seen this? John the Third was third. And the horse up on the top board is number 2, Analyzer. Here it is right now. Okay, we have the official result now. And the winner, Benthall Rainbow. Freddie, he was by that three-quarter pole in 1:32 and 2. 32 seconds for the last quarter for the mile at 4 and 2.
I'm sure Mike just said to himself, I'll go as fast and as far as I can tonight. After that action, I would imagine when he heard Lacardi and Drum Major N knocked at it, but he said, I'll keep her going.
Okay, Shailene Globe up for second. A real good trip for her, and I think probably that's her lifetime best. Then the third horse, John the Third. Analyzer, who lost a lot of ground, was shuffled back because of that interference break, and maybe that's justice coming back. You mentioned a while ago that Analyzer might have been a little bit guilty on something like that on Monday night. So it gets to you after a while. Analyzer was 4th. Tarhorn was 5th. Uira 6th. Drum Major N was 7th, and Lacardi was 8th. The Triactor pool, $19,328. Put, why don't you add up all those figures for me? The Triactor, 5, 3, and 6, $2,095.70. The win pool, $8,264. The place pool, $25.28. The show pool, $12.68. So 8, 10, 10, 7, 10, 9, 11, 12, 12,000, almost $32,000 bet on the Gold Cup and Saucer this year. Isn't that fantastic, Freddie?
Unbelievable. I'm sure Doug Caldwell will try to get the race extended to probably 1 a.m. in St. John.
You know, $32,000 in one race, while there are a lot of racetracks in and around the Maritimes, I would say $32,000 in one night is a pretty decent handle. Yeah. Okay, that's it. The Gold Cup and Saucer from the Charlottetown Driving Park. Again, just in case you're late getting with us, the winner, Benthall Rainbow, cutting it out, doing his own job on top all the way, saying, goodbye, fellas, catch me if you can. They couldn't catch him. And Mikey McDonald, as Fred McDonald says, perhaps the happiest kid in Charlottetown, right now. So that concludes our live broadcast. Unless, Freddie, you've got something else to add before we go?
Probably just the only thing I have to add, Ingham, I'll probably see you in St. John Old Home Week over there.
Okay, that comes up in 2 weeks' time. And again, I want to thank Foot for giving me the chance to come back home again to Charlottetown. So as we started to say a moment ago, that concludes our live broadcast of the 1975 Gold Cup and Saucer from the Charlottetown Driving Park.
The 1975 Gold Cup and Saucer Race has been presented live on CHTN by McLennan Motors, Mount Edward Road and Allen Street.